The moment the judge heard his name, the entire courtroom froze. That's how it all began. A simple case, an exhausted single dad veteran just trying to prove his innocence, and a judge who had no idea that the man standing before him was about to change everything. Stick around till the end, because this story will remind you why honor, sacrifice, and truth still matter in this world. And if you believe that real heroes deserve second chances, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because stories like this one deserve to be heard. Daniel Reed never thought he'd end up in a courtroom. Once, he was a decorated soldier, a special forces veteran who had served his country with quiet pride. But after losing his wife to cancer and retiring early to raise his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, life had taken a different turn. He worked 2 jobs, fixed cars by night, and never complained. Yet today, he stood accused of assault, all because he defended an elderly woman in a grocery store parking lot from a group of entitled men. The prosecutor painted Daniel as a violent ex-soldier with anger issues. The defense, a tired public attorney doing his best. The air in the courtroom was tense, filled with whispers and judgmental eyes. Daniel sat quietly, his calloused hands folded, the same hands that had once carried wounded soldiers out of battle now trembling under the weight of injustice. Then the door opened, and the judge walked in. Court is now in session. Judge Michael Carter presiding. The room rose, and for a moment, the 2 men's eyes met. The judge froze. He blinked twice as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Then he whispered softly, "Sergeant Reed." Everyone turned their heads. The murmurs began instantly. Daniel looked up, confusion flickering in his eyes. "Sir." The judge leaned back, eyes glassy with emotion. You saved my unit in Kandahar. You pulled me out of that convoy wreckage." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Reporters stopped scribbling. The prosecutor looked lost. Even the clerk forgot to breathe. Daniel lowered his head modestly. "Just doing my duty, sir." Judge Carter swallowed hard, visibly shaken. The man who once owed his life to Daniel was now holding his fate in his hands. But professionalism returned to the judge's voice, steady but soft. "Proceed," he said, though his eyes never left Daniel. As the trial went on, the truth began to unfold. The so-called assault was Daniel trying to protect a 70-year-old woman when a group of young men had pushed her down and laughed. But one of them was the son of a powerful businessman, and they'd turned the story upside down. Lily sat quietly behind her father, clutching a small toy soldier he had given her before every deployment. She looked at the judge with teary eyes, hoping he would see her dad the way she did, a protector, not a criminal. Then came the old woman, Mrs. Hartley, walking slowly with a cane. When asked why she hadn't come earlier, she said, "Because I was scared. Those men threatened me. But this man," she turned to Daniel, her voice breaking, "he didn't think twice. He shielded me like a guardian angel." The courtroom went silent again. You could hear nothing but the soft sniffles of Lily in the back row. The prosecutor tried to twist the story, but the judge was done listening to nonsense. He asked for the surveillance footage, and when it played, the truth was undeniable. Daniel never threw the first punch, he had simply stopped the attack. Judge Carter leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. "Case dismissed. Mr. Reed, this court owes you an apology." Lily ran up to her father, wrapping her little arms around his waist. Daniel held her close, relief washing over him. But then, something unexpected happened. Judge Carter stepped down from the bench, walked over, and saluted him. "Sergeant Reed," he said quietly, "you once saved my life. Today, I'm glad I could return the favor, in a much smaller way." The courtroom erupted in applause. Even the bailiff wiped his eyes. Outside, cameras flashed, and reporters shouted questions, but Daniel just smiled down at his daughter. "Come on, kiddo. Let's go home." "Daddy," Lily whispered, "did that man really mean you saved him?" Daniel chuckled softly. "A long time ago, sweetheart. But today, he saved me." That night, they went home to their small apartment, but something had changed. It wasn't about the victory in court, it was about redemption, faith, and how good deeds never really disappear. They circle back, sometimes years later, when you least expect them. And as the story ends, remember this: real strength isn't about fighting battles on the front lines, It's about standing for what's right, even when the world stands against you. So if this story touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life stories that inspire hope, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded, good men still exist, and their courage never fades. Because sometimes, all it takes is hearing a name to remind the world who the true heroes are.